We need your help now to complete Transform Me, David's documentary that he's been working on for an entire decade. That's 10 years, folks, about the world of Transformers. What it's
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, it's Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob.
Hey, hi, it's Gregg Berger.
Me Grimlock G1 Transformers.
And also the Ice King from Adventure Time.
Let's see, what else was I? I was Agent K in the animated Men in Black. Shoot 'em, Jay's a cerebrophacaloid.
And the narrator from the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, and
Squeak the Mouse from the Garfield Show.
Ian the Male from the Powerpuff Girls.
and one of the voices of Eeyore.
And Heifer from Rocco's Modern Life.
Harry the Alley Cat from the Garfield Show.
And we just gotta say, feel free
to ask us anything. Actually, I think Grimlock would say,
Me ask anything.
well, but actually it's you who can ask anything.
Mangling the English
Who would win a fight?
Who would win the fight? I think SpongeBob's relentless positivity would win out in the end and just wear Ice King down, Squidward style.
To meet Chris Latta while working on Transformers or G.I. Joe. He was always getting into legal and professional troubles was he getting into legal trouble? We don't need to answer that part. But
do you know the answer to that?
Well, it's not for me to say. I don't. I only know this, that like so many incredible, intense creatives, he put so much of his passion into his work that he was a dynamo. He was a creative dynamo, and I know that like so many people, you could feel a fire burning inside him, and creative people who have that fire burning inside them, when they have their work to put it into, create work that has that stamp on it. He was an astonishing person who felt driven in all aspects. I saw his stand-up also. I just think he was a creative dynamo, and I'll start it at that and leave it at that. He was astonishing to watch work, and even on a personal basis, he was feverish in his passion for life and living it.
Kind of like when I met Alan Thicke.
Oh God, it must have been fun. Do you feel typecast as SpongeBob?
Not at all. Again, the beautiful thing about voiceover, I mean, I think anybody that was doing one character on TV for 15 years.
Any car, any color, Ford in $9.95. Any size, any shape, any gender, anything.
I mean, if you're on TV and you're playing a character for 15 years, you're typecast, no doubt. But in voiceover, like I said, you do SpongeBob, and then in the same day, you're doing, Henry Hugglemonster for Disney, or you're being Iron Man in Superhero Squad, or you're Dr. Octopus, or in Ultimate Spider-Man, or you're going to Brickleberry and doing something completely unlike SpongeBob. Doesn't look
in
like
a
him. In a
perfect animation world, the only limits we have are the ones we put on ourselves.
Yeah, and most people don't even know that it's the same guy. Like, they don't even care enough to delve into it. Like, nobody's gonna go, hey, is that Woody Johnson guy on that Brickleberry?
The same guy that does his voice on SpongeBob?
They don't even do the math, like, because most people, they don't care enough to delve
Hopefully.
into it. That's the beauty of our job. Like, I'm always getting like offers and emails from people going, hey, I have an idea for a show, like meet the cartoon voiceover stars, or who will be the next animation voiceover star, or some kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway, but it's all us animation people. And I always go, sounds kind of good, but the anonymity or relative anonymity of doing what we do is one of the perks about it. So it's almost like turning that into an on-camera look at me thing that's would kind of wreck it.
Right.
I don't want to wreck
Title
it.
of the show is Don't Look at Me.
Yes, exactly. If I could be behind a screen, like even on camera, I was always happiest when I had tons of prosthetic makeup on Mr. Show, where I didn't look like me or sound like me at all. You know, there's, you know, I'm not that interesting to look at or listen to as the you people are.
However, However, the magnificence and beauty and unbelievable experience of the convention world, which happily and thankfully and gratefully has taken me and so many of us literally around the world with travel opportunities, and the opportunity to meet people one-on-one who actually do take the time and make the effort to find out who we are and acknowledge that they care about who we are is just beyond any of our ability to say thank you, and it's such a mind-blowing experience to actually meet the fans who take the time to express that. Just as far
He
as
convinced me. I'm going to start doing conventions now.
just as far as what that opportunity represents and constitutes is just eye-opening and mind-blowing.
I don't do too many of those.
It really is.
SpongeBob Fairly Odd Parents crossover.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Steven Hillenburg likes to keep the SpongeBob world unto itself. He chafes at crossovers.
It's understandable.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fellas, what is your favorite TV show on right now?
Ooh.
Right now,
Yes.
I'm really fond of Modern Family. Animated, there are so many ways to go. Still love classic cartoons. I'll always love classic cartoons. Contemporary, there's a lot of Adult Swim stuff that I think is of interest. I don't know. I'm all over the board. I dial surf animation the same way I dial surf anything else. Selfishly, on a classic bent, I think the Garfield show is fantastic. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I'm proud to watch it. I like all incarnations of Transformers. The flexibility of that franchise blows my mind repeatedly. And always has and continues to. But I like Super Jail.
I love Super Jail.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
what was the question?
Okay. What is your favorite TV show, or in this case, TV show is
Turn this on, but if it's
right now?
annoying, just let me know.
Oh, cool. You know, I am not now. I have to come clean. I am not now, nor have I ever really been. Except when I was a little kid, a TV watcher. I kind of stopped watching a lot of TV when I was a teenager and started playing in bands and stuff. So, in fact, this came up recently on an episode of Adventure Time, where the Ice King had to sing the theme from Cheers, and I didn't know it because I've never seen Cheers, never seen MASH. I've never seen, not a TV guy. But there's a certain era of classic TV that I grew up with that I still love. You know, I still love The Fugitive, still love like early half-hour film noir, gritty Gunsmoke. But in terms of like current TV, it's the stuff that my son Mac drags me into, like the Sherlock show, because I'm a Sherlock Holmes guy. He watches some of those Impractical Jokers type prank type shows that I'll walk in when he's watching that, and it's pretty funny. And then I watch cartoons. I love Adventure Time. I love Regular Show. But generally, I fritter away my time in ways that are just as useless as watching TV, but they're different from watching TV.
Is after right next to the frozen foods. I'm an actor, so I would put the emphasis on acting. The voice will follow where the acting leads you, and those of us who are actors find out that voice acting is one aspect of an actor's life, and I was always all of my character acting has been voice driven. So I was always most inclined to discover a character through the way he sounded. I was seen on the Los Angeles stage by a couple of prominent voice directors, and I had always had an interest in becoming part of the voice community, and my entrance to it really was cemented by being seen on stage.
Pro Nicolas Cage or con Nicolas Cage?
Well, pro
Indifferent Nicolas Cage.
You know, I gotta say, knowing that Nicolas Cage is an Elvis freak, and having seen Nicolas Cage at Johnny Ramone's memorial ceremony, I have to say yay on Cage, because he's a rock and roll guy.
Yay Cage, and yay early Cage, and
Empire's
yay.
Kiss, baby.
Yay.
Okay.
It's not his fault he had bad investment planning.
Okay, and
I'm gonna take this light.
oh god, I know this is definitely going to be one you guys are going to want to go off on, and I'm actually going to probably have to dictate this one over, but
I got very few nays left in me.
okay.
Yeah.
If you had to nail
Eeyore does.
if you had to nail down your favorite episode, favorite scene from any of the works that you've done, what would it be?
Mine.
I know the nerds get specific.
These are really large, man.
I'm gonna say Duckman Haunted Society Plumbers. There's a scene where Duckman and Cornfed we want to be the first name in the phone book, and so they must have gotten 12 minutes of animated footage of us introducing ourselves at a door, saying we're the plumbers from A plumbers, and then the Margaret Dumont lady at the door says, "Let me get this straight. You're the gentleman from A plumbers." That's right. We're the plumbers from A. And it went on interminably and forever. Plus, it was like a Paramount buddy comedy. It just really went all out to be the buddy comedy that show always was. Just like so many of your shows were buddy comedies and acknowledged themselves. A lot of I mean, like Hope and Crosby were buddy comedies. A lot of animated programming really is that same buddy comedy kind of formula, which is, it's not even a formula. It's just like a time-tested
trope.
It's a meme.
Yes.
It's a trope. It just is good because it's good. Anyway, I would choose that.
Yeah, and God, there's so many that I could say, but I'm realizing when somebody asks me a question like that, I realize that I'm the kind of person who, does it and then kind of dumps the file, and then you move on to other stuff. And a lot of times I'll forget that I did it, and then my kids will be watching some, a show or something like that. Like now is really interesting because Netflix is starting to show a lot of like early, like 90s, like Cartoon Network product and stuff like that that's not been available for a while. Stuff like Cow and Chicken and Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls, stuff that kind of hasn't been in the mix for kids for a while. And now my kids are watching, so you're always kind of hearing something vaguely familiar from the next room and going in and going, oh yeah, wow, that was really fun. And then all the memories and everything come flooding back. But in terms of like doing it and then like, cogitating about it years later and going, that was the perfect wave that day. It truly was a golden age for animated voice. You're not walking around doing that, you're just kind of going forward, always ever forward.
For Transformers, I would say Skyfire, the Fire in the Sky episode where he's found in the ice. For Grimlock, I would say Grimlock's New Brain, that whole little arc where he gets smart and then gives it all to Computron. That was really cool. There's like a million different favorites, but they're all favorites for different reasons. And then there's a million more that I don't remember the title of, but they were cool because they were cool that day.
Talk about your best fan interaction. He also asked about your worst fan interaction, but whichever you'd like to talk about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, okay. This is gonna sound really corny, but it's true. Best fan interactions for me are, like hospital visits with sick kids and stuff like that. That are,
I went to the same place.
A lot of times, watching TV is all those kids can do. They're in this room going through horrific procedures for a long time, and this show you're on, usually SpongeBob these days, or Adventure Time, brings them, makes them not feel terrible for a couple of minutes. And so, talking to them and then talking to the parents who are just so grateful to see their sick kid smile or laugh for a couple of seconds, there's nothing like that. And that's something that when you first get into this, you don't even, you're not even thinking of that. It's not even on your radar because it's kind of an unexpected thing that happens. So there was at Children's Hospital right down the road from here, there was a person who hadn't talked. It was completely unresponsive, a teenage girl, and I could hear SpongeBob coming from her room from the TV, and I said, can I go in there? And they said, yeah, I don't know if you want to. She doesn't really respond. She doesn't really respond to anything. It's, we keep the TV on. But I said, I'm going. So I went in. She was watching SpongeBob. I started talking to her a little bit. Went, ah! And she just started laughing, like really loud. And the people at the nurses station were like, what the hell? Like her parents couldn't believe it. The people at the nurses, and she was just like laughing. It was really, it was as close as I'll ever get to having a superpower. You know what I mean? Like it was really, it was so emotional because they were like, yeah, you can go in there, but be prepared. She doesn't respond. She might know you're in there, but she won't respond. So don't, they're like protecting my actor's ego. Don't feel like you're not going over gangbusters. So yeah, thanks for looking out for me. And I would say the worst fan interaction would have to be, and I've told this story before, but at my dad's wake, where you're standing there next to an open casket with my father, who died very suddenly. So you're sort of still getting through this whole thing. This was in 2001, and people are standing in line, and the family's greeted you and your siblings. You got a suit on. Thanks for coming. I enjoyed working with your father. I worked with him at Carrier Air Conditioning for years. Oh, thanks. That's nice. It means a lot. And then somebody came through with a SpongeBob CD and a Sharpie and said, do you mind, I hope this isn't weird, but could you sign this? And there were so many things I could say at that moment. You could be sarcastic. You hope it isn't weird? Of course it's not weird. Standing in front of my dead old man's casket and signing an autograph? Not weird at all. Don't trouble your pretty little head about it. But I was just so in shock that I just signed it and wanted the moment to be over.
Yeah.
And then, and I later did regret not using my dad's face to study the piece of paper just for extra horribleness. Here, Dad, could you hold it? There you go, steady it. But that was probably my worst
That'd be
fan
right up
interaction.
there.
Yeah. That's
My dad's wake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like funny in a horrific way. I don't mean to get too serious, but it was like, even at the time, and by the way, anybody who's ever been to funerals and wakes knows that that's where minor stuff becomes the most hilarious thing ever, because you need it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right, like a little kid at a funeral spinning around becomes this welcome thing. So just that out of body experience where this totally effed up weird thing was happening was, even at the time, kind of hilarious. And my brothers are like, who was that person? I'm like, I don't know, you know. But yeah, it was that was the worst.
Well,
But there's many more. That's about the only bad one that I can think of in years and years and years
that's
of
bad.
good ones.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I went to the exact same place for good. I used to be part of, and it's only just sort. I hope it re-establishes itself. I was, I guess I still am. It just hasn't happened recently. But there was an organization called Famous Phone Friends that I was part of, and it was originally organized by a woman named Linda Stone, who was a studio teacher, and she got the word out to pediatric hospitals, and the floor nurses would get children's favorite animated voices, or even actual on-camera celebrity names, but she would get the word out to us and get the phone numbers. Anyway, we would call either in character or as ourselves and say we had some of their cartoon voice requests. I would call as myself and say I have some of your animated friends with me, and get on the phone, and you would just hear these patients, young patients, pediatric patients, light up for the period of time that you were on the phone. Then either the parent or the nurse would get on and talk about what a difference you'd made for that period of time. So,
Yeah, Famous Phone Friends was cool.
without a doubt,
That was a
those were
good thing.
absolute highs each and every time. And not trying to be goody-goody, but I really can't talk about worsts. With the possible exception of all of the people, and this is not anybody's fault, it's just people perceive things to the best of their ability to perceive them. But people who stand in line at a signing or whatever, and do the voice.
Me Grimlock, me Dinobot leader.
They say, boy, that really sounds like him. That really sounds like whatever the character is.
Squeak the Mouse from the Garfield show.
Well, you really sound like. Well, I actually do the voice. That's why I'm here. That's why we're doing. Well, it really does sound a lot like. It really sounds a lot like, or whatever it is. You said, well, it really is. It really is. Well, yeah, but that's really close. That's really whatever it is, and it's nobody's fault. But there's just this disconnect between the person's ability to perceive that you're actually the person that furnishes the voice for that. And sometimes it's a little kid who thinks that you go to the station every Saturday morning or whatever time it's on and do the voice over the TV. Whatever it is, just sometimes there's disconnects. That is not a bad thing. It's just a little disconnect between the person you're talking to and their ability to actually connect to the fact that you're actually that person.
Yeah, and my mother that lives in our small town of East Syracuse, New York, like she'll see, like, I don't know, she'll be in the supermarket, and if the cashier has like a SpongeBob sticker or a pin or something on, my mother will say, oh, my son does the voice of SpongeBob. And they're like, oh, really? How old is your son? Like, they don't realize that, it's like, Mom, you're not explaining it enough. You're in East Syracuse, New York. How old is your son? She'll go, oh, he's, 50, 51. And they'll go,
that's great.
And they'll go, oh, great. Oh my God!
Nice.
They're picturing some.
How nice for him.
They're picturing some Rupert Pupkin weirdo
Right.
living in the basement of his mother's house, going,
Right.
"How's that sound, Mom?" It's just so funny. Like, cool.
That's a good question. Let's see. Best advice given to you in a career.
I guess we're getting close to the time to say the preceding program was brought to you by.
Well, all right, we'll call it quits then for now.
Oh,
But
that was fun.
thank you guys so much for joining us. It's awesome.
Our pleasure.
Great to be here, man. I love the improvised Transformers. You got like Sponge Scream.
Yeah.
And,
This one gives you wings.
It's like a tampon. Wasn't that the advertising
With the
pitch for
wings,
that type
yeah.
of product? Yeah, there was. I'm not making this up, folks. Sorry to
That
take it.
works.
Sorry to take it there, David.
Oh, no problem,
Wow,
no problem.
right to the
That's
gutter.
fine.
That's
oh,
fantastic.
However,
was-
where we hope it'll take it is toward Transform Me. huh?
Transform Me, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah. No, I wanted to thank you guys so much for helping me push the campaign. I've been doing this for 10 years, Transform Me, the documentary, and asking you guys awesome questions and giving me even better answers. And, and this is the year to get it done and bring it home.
So let's see if we can help us help you, help you, help you.
Is this the final push?
This is the final push.
This is the final push.
is
So
it.
we really got to
So-
lock in. This is like this, this is like a pledge drive.
This
is
is
like a
down
pledge
to the
drive.
wire. Yes.
We are down to the wire. We need your help now to complete Transform Me, David's documentary that he's been working on for an entire decade. That's 10 years, folks, about the world of Transformers, what it's meant to David, what it's meant to various other people that are interviewed in the documentary, and he also talks with a lot of people that have been involved in the franchise over the years.
It's
like Gregg
time for
Berger.
good things to happen to good people.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. Yeah.
Good
No,
things have happened to us bad people for long enough.
Yeah, right. It's time for
time for
good
it to
things to
stop.
happen to good people.
Yeah, oh, definitely. We got some awesome perks, and you guys are helping. I offered to lend you out to, basically whoever will
Sweet.
have
Well,
you
I'll
for a
do
couple
some.
Wait a minute,
I'll
if
do
I
some
lend you
painting,
out-
manual labor.
some light cleaning, some
Yeah.
some window
Detail
washing,
some cars.
All right,
Is that okay with you?
easy on my back.
aluminum siding.
No, but perks, like say
What kind of
autographed copies of the movie and that sort of thing.
Sure.
What else? What do we have? Oh, voice recording.
Yeah,
Like a very, little very
For
select
comic
few.
book,
Sounds
A
good.
comic
the
book.
Buck
Yeah.
94 comic book.
We're giving out the
A new car! Oh, sorry.
A new
I
car.
got carried away.
Anyway, we'll figure out all the details. We'll post it there on the site for you.
But none of those perks happen, and the perks don't find their way into your hands unless you pony up and kick something into the kitty. Right?
That's true, yeah.
How do they do that?
They go to Indiegogo.com and they go to the Transform Me campaign.
Indiegogo,
simple as that.
Transform Me. Simple
Yeah.
as that.
And then just tell your friends about it. I mean, it's time this film. It has to come out. It's long
And I think it's a
overdue.
really interesting subject, and it's something it's obviously a labor of love, but also I think I get the feeling that even if you don't know anything about the world of Transformers, it would still be an interesting watch to see how this thing has impacted all these various folks.
It's real like human interest stories. I mean, I covered this guy, Mr. Optimus Prime, who legally changed his name to the character after he lost his dad. He was so inspired by the Optimus Prime character that he became like a father figure, a role model. He kind of modeled a lot of his life around the character, being a hero. He was a firefighter, putting out fires after that with the Autobot shield on his helmet. I mean, it was so inspiring to me.
So that just
Yeah.
was a complete life changer for this guy.
It was.
Transformers.
No, I mean, I think the shows that you guys have voiced, they have such a powerful impact on who people become, their careers, their personalities, just everything about their life. That's why I did this film, to kind of show the journey. Okay, this character, for Grimlock or Starscream, just we're so inspirational. We also have a guy, Daniel Ross, who was just inspired to become a voice actor after listening to you guys growing up, and so he pushed really hard to pursue his craft. It's so it's very inspiring stories like that.
It's cool. And I think it needs to be funded. That's the only thing it needs.
It must be.
It's pretty much, you got everything shot pretty much, right?
Oh yeah, it's so close to the
it's
end.
that
You just need
close to the end. It just needs that final
little tiny
that push over the finish line that only you, Indiegogo folks, can give it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you. It was too short.
Thank
It
you.
was.
We need to do
We're gonna
this
do
again.
it again. We will. Yeah.